Welcome to the Game Rage Star Wars podcast. Well, hello there.
General Kenobi.
General Kenobi. Welcome back, everyone. I know it's been a long fucking time since we've done one of these episodes, and I think we got so sidetracked with other things that we neglected the Star Wars podcast heavily. Also, the fact that shit was basically coming out didn't really help. Mm-hmm. There was some good things that came out. I mean, we still got to watch Ahsoka. Still got to talk about that, but I'll get into that. Before we get into that, yes, we will be changing the intro, so don't worry. I'm not going to do it yet because we've set a goal. And we said we're going to do one of these episodes. We've been advertising it on all of our other podcasts. And we said if this episode right here that we're doing gets Jesus Christ.
Sorry, just shutting your bullshit.
Oh, shut the fuck up. If this episode of Game Rage Star Wars gets 15 downloads in the first 7 days, or 15 streams, 15 whatever, then we will consider...
Here, folks, 15 whatevers.
15 of whatever, all right, that I can see on the tracking. Whether it's through YouTube or whether it's through listening to your favorite podcast app, whatever, it doesn't matter. If we get 15 downloads in the first 7 days, we will continue this. We will do it minimally bi-weekly, and likely we'll actually probably going to start adding it to every week once we start doing a show that's Star Wars related. If we start reviewing Ahsoka, we'll start doing like we do on movies and TV, and we'll just do one episode a week. And this will be, just another thing that we can have to provide this type of content. I do miss talking about Star Wars shit because as I was thinking about this, I realized that we can talk about other stuff that we haven't talked about. We never finished doing the movies, or the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, because we still need to do Attack of the Clones. We still need to do Revenge of the Sith. There's also Rogue One. There's Solo, that I thought were good movies that we can, do and review. There's other things. We'll talk about that in a minute. Before we get into that, I want to slightly interrupt and just do the plugs. Because those of you who've listened to Game Rage Star Wars have never heard the plugs because we started doing this, just several months ago and whatever. So, let
me get in position for a nap.
Oh, how dare you. If you want to listen to all of our other podcasts that we do, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. You can also go to Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Frank is literally falling asleep as we speak. Speaking of Frank, if you like anime and manga, which you probably do if you like Star Wars, you can go to the Anime Syndicate podcast and listen there. You can also go to anime_syndicate_podcast. Additionally, if you like music, you can go listen to All Gas No Trash Official, which is Adam's music podcast, and you can listen and follow him at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram. And
what do you think? Sounds of the ocean or sounds of the rainforest would be better?
Oh, probably the rainforest. Actually, no, I like the ocean sounds.
Okay. Just have me fall asleep faster.
Yeah. So, all right, now that the cheap plugs are out of the way.
6 years later.
I mean, it was only like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. Anyways, so as I was saying before.
I'm just playing with you.
If this episode gets downloads, like I said, 15 within the first 7 days, then we're going to restart the podcast, essentially. And we're going to start... one of the things that I know we need to go back and finish doing the movies, but I really want to talk about and go over the original Star Wars animated Clone Wars, the one that took place between episodes 2 and 3 that was on Cartoon Network by Gennady Tartakovsky, right? That's how you say that? Mm. The guy who did Dexter's Laboratory, the guy who did Samurai Jack, the guy who did Primal. I want to get into that. I want to go over that show specifically because it is one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars content. It really was a perfect tie-in, and it led right into episode 3, which was really cool for us as fans because they put this out they put this whole thing out like a couple of weeks before Episode 3 came out. And this was the perfect tie-in because the movie or the series literally ends exactly at the same scene that Episode 3 begins. And that's fucking cool as shit. What are you looking at over there in shock?
Hyundai just announced a new car.
Oh, what is it? Is it a truck? What is that, a sports car? Oh, it's a DeLorean? Or no, it's a Porsche. What is that? That looks weird.
It looks fucking sick.
Yeah. Anyways, so basically...
Stay tuned for the Cars podcast.
Yeah. So basically, if this goes forward, that's going to be the first thing we're going to do a real deep dive on. And, you know, Frank and I really do have an encyclopedic knowledge of the old Star Wars canon, the pre-Disney Star Wars canon. And we also have a decent knowledge of some of the post-Disney canon. But where we really kind of stopped is I drew the line at the Acolyte. That was where I really drew the line, because I know that they kept touting it as it was going to be the gayest Star Wars ever, as they kept saying. And listen, we're very pro LGBT community. Do whatever the fuck you want. But I just don't need gayness thrown in my face when I'm watching Star Wars shit. I don't need it to be the central focus of the show. So, I mean, I watched some trailers and it just didn't appeal to me. I do think that if we do restart the Star Wars podcast, we are going to have to go and look at it. I mean, we probably don't need to because it's already canceled. But I think just for continuity's sake, just so we can really have a reason and say for sure that we don't like it, we have to watch it. So that'll probably be in the future later down the line. There's a bunch of other shit I want to get to before that. Primarily being the original Clone Wars animated series, which was the 2D animation. And I want to then do Ahsoka, because Ahsoka does it have 2 seasons out? Or is it just the one?
I think.
Second season's supposed to be coming out.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Because all I know is that the original plan was the end of the Mandoverse was supposed to be a movie. And I think Ahsoka
I think it still is a movie.
Yeah, because I think Ahsoka falls under the Mandoverse.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, they've announced that they're doing the Mandalorian. It's called The Mandalorian and Grogu, so I don't know if it's a new series or if it's just going to be basically The Mandalorian season 3 or 4 or whatever the fuck number they're on. But essentially, that's what we're looking to do. What?
You hate as someone that hates the current slang. Have you seen the new one that's been coming out?
No.
Demure?
Oh yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
So demure, so classy, so considerate. That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Anyways, Star Wars though, we want to get back on it. I do think that our encyclopedic knowledge has gone to waste because we haven't been speaking of it. And because people are so dissatisfied with the new canon, I'm in favor of resurrecting the old, original, pre-Disney canon. And I think that's also something we're going to be focusing on as well, is talking about what's referred to as the Legends content. We're going to be going back and reviewing and talking about several aspects of Legends content that we still want held true in terms of the new canon and the new content. I mean, we're going to talk about the old original Thrawn trilogy, compare that to this new version of what they're doing. You know, we're going to do a lot of things like that and bringing in our encyclopedic knowledge. I do think we are going to have to do a crossover episode with the Central Unintelligence podcast and get into the military industrial complex of Star Wars and do like specific like vehicle, you know, discuss vehicles in depth and fighters and all that sort of stuff. Cause that's something that we hold very near and dear to heart. And I think that was a missed opportunity that we didn't think of before to go into with the Star Wars podcast. Because even though we didn't want to watch a lot of the new shit, we just got disillusioned and that's why we stopped. But now, having thought about it for basically a year, we've decided, or I decided, and Frank agreed, right?
What?
Did you agree with me that we should maybe try to just see this and see what happens? Do this episode and see if it can bring it back? If we can resurrect it?
Yeah.
Because I really do hope this episode hits the goal. Because I do want to start talking about Star Wars again.
Yep.
And so let's get 15 fucking downloads on this. Because I really want to and we're going to promote the shit out of this episode on social medias. I will be directing social media marketing manager Adam, I'll be directing him to make multiple posts regarding this Star Wars episode and putting it out there. And I'll tell him it's right at the 10:20-ish mark. We'll just call it the 10:30 mark. And putting this quote as the main portion of the clip. If this episode of Game Rage Star Wars gets 15 downloads in 7 days of it being up, whether it be through your favorite podcast app or whether it be through YouTube, we'll combine the numbers. But wherever it gets 15 downloads total, that is when we will decide to bring Game Rage Star Wars back. And we will constantly do it consistently, and we will do it at least twice a month, and realistically, we're likely going to be doing it once a week. It's going to be added to the normal rotation of podcasts that we do every week. If we can get 15 downloads in 7 days on this episode. So that's the challenge to everybody out there. If you like Star Wars and you want to hear us talk about all this stuff, if you're listening to this on the social media clip, great. Go listen to this episode and you can hear all the shit that I'm talking about right now of what we're going to talk about during the future of Game Rage Star Wars and all the topics we're going to cover. All right, so then that was a minute-long promo to push that out there. So those are a lot of things we have planned for the future. We are also, just if you're listening to this and you like tabletop gaming, Slice the Dice is going to be, which is our tabletop, it's the Game Rage tabletop gaming podcast, and we do D&D, we do tabletop RPGs. We're gonna be starting up Warhammer Risk, but we're also gonna be starting up, probably in the next month or so, a Star Wars game on that podcast. And it would be a great tie-in to be able to plug Star Wars and plug people in to go over there and watch it. Because we're talking about Star Wars shit. And then we're conducting combat in a game of Star Wars against each other. So that would be fucking great. So anyways, so please everyone, tell your friends, hide your kids. No, don't hide your kids. Tell your kids, tell your wife, tell your brothers, tell your sisters, tell your neighbors. Go check out the Game Rage Star Wars podcast. And yes, the previous episodes that we've done are likely not going to be formatted in the same way that the future episodes are going to be. The theme song is going to change because that was our original one from a year ago. We've evolved since then as creators and artists or whatever you want to say. So we're gonna get rid of that and we're gonna change it up into something different. The intro and outro will be different. We will be engaging with the audience, as we always do with all our other podcasts. So please, if you like Star Wars stuff, tell people about it so we can keep doing it. Because listen, all we need is 15 downloads. I think the bar is set pretty low, pretty fucking low. I think we can manage 15 downloads. Hell, this podcast, we haven't done it in a year and it hasn't had a month where there's been 0 downloads. So if 20 people can listen a month, I think a new episode could at least get 15 new downloads. So purposely, that's probably likely why I have set the bar so low, is so that we can hit the goal and continue to do Star Wars. And this is just it's a call to action for our audience and our fans to pump the numbers up on this one to show us that you really fucking want it. Because we really want it. Like, we fucking want it. But if you don't want it, then fuck, well, we ain't just gonna make shit for nobody to listen to. So anyways, help a brother out. Help a Wookiee out.
Jesus Christ, you just made it worse.
Help a fucking Mandalorian out. Help a nerf herder out. And holler at your boys and tell them that those Game Rage fellas brought back the Star Wars show. And they're ready to rock, sock, and fucking shit up. All right, that's what we're ready to do. So, all right, I think that's pretty much it. I think this will just be a short little episode. And help us out. If you want to listen to our other stuff, you can go. You got anything else to add before I get into the end plugs? No?
Yeah.
If you got anything else, if you want to listen to our other shit, go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube, Game Rage Magazine. You can also follow Frank at anime_syndicate_podcast, and you can go listen to the Anime Syndicate podcast. Go listen to Slice of Dice as well, if you like that. Also, if you like music, go to All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram, and you can go fucking listen to the All Gas No Trash Music Podcast. As a joke, Adam and I will be reviewing the upcoming Paris Hilton Infinite Icon album. And I told him, I said, we're going to do this as a joke, but what if it's fucking good? Adam says if it's good, we have to kill ourselves live on the air. And I'm like, you know what? You're probably right. Because it's probably not going to be good.
I never thought I'd ever find myself rooting for her.
Good one, Frank. Anyways, tune in, hopefully, to the next episode where we talk about Clone Wars, the original animated series, and we go over episodes. Maybe we'll do, I don't know, because it's like an hour, so maybe we'll do like the volume 1 and then we'll do volume 2 in the next episode. I don't know. But stay tuned for that. Anyways, help a Nerf herder out. Holler at your boys. We'll be back. Nerf herders, #1. That's our fucking word. That's fucking our word.
You had to take it to the worst point, didn't you?
That's what I do.
That was the Game Rage Star Wars podcast. Don't forget, like and subscribe on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. Also on Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. In addition to the actual website of www.GameRageMagazine.com. Check it out for a host of all of our other podcasts and everything else that we do, to be determined later. Thanks for listening.